Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see, in this game we've got SirHamer playing the Tier 9, well, pan-European destroyer Östergötland. This is a ship that I love to play. I haven't been playing it much lately because I haven't been playing DDs much lately, primarily because of the torpedo bug that was introduced in update 10.5. I'm going to go in here and set things up so you can get a little bit more information while you're watching this. This is another bug that was introduced with 10.5. These will not stay set for replays. They work great and stay set in the game, but for replays I have to go in and manually set them each time. Only takes a little bit, and there is a lot more information that's visible with this, so happy to do it. Matchmaking, well, it could be better. Anytime there's no CV, it's always better for a destroyer player, but it's a tier 8 CV, so not as bad as, say, instead of Lexington, a Midway. At least with the Östergötland, you have the opportunity to shoot down a plane or two before they hit you. And maybe, if you've got some friends with you, you might be able to dissuade them from hitting you 2 or 3 times. Taking a look at the rest of the matchup here, we've got Missouri, Leon, Nelson, Seattle. Looks pretty close. I don't see anything that I think immediately, oh man, that team's in trouble. Friesland is usually kind of a wild card if the Friesland captain really knows what he's doing. Same with Schultz, I guess, to some degree. If people are playing it like I was when I first got it, they probably won't be as effective as they could be. We'll see. No caps to contest. That always makes for an interesting game. I think that SirHamer was turning to starboard, turning to the right, and that's why his torpedoes, instead of going through the channel, 2 of them hit the island. That's the bug, if you're unfamiliar with it. If you're turning when you launch torpedoes, the torpedoes are going to go outside to whatever side you were turning of where the indicator tells you the torps are going to go. So if you aim the torpedo indicator and it says it's going to go right through that gap and you're turning to the right, well, they're not all going to go through the gap. Some of them are going to launch to the right of the indicator and hit the island. Same to the left. If you're turning to the left, some of your torpedoes are probably going to hit the island in a narrow channel like that. I find it very irritating. And I'm a little disappointed, well, a lot disappointed that Wargaming hasn't addressed it yet, but you know, this is Wargaming we're talking about. They're not always really responsive to bugs they've introduced, unless of course it's something to do with CVs. This Shores is taking his life in his hands, pushing in like this. Just ate a torpedo from the friendly CV, and it'll be a minor miracle if he gets through there. Nope, he's gone. Nicely done, SirHamer. And that's kill number 1 and the first kill for the game. So first blood award. Of course, these awards, they don't mean what they used to. If you're not aware, not too long ago, Wargaming decided that instead of giving us signals and such when we get these awards or pick up a Kraken or a Confederate or whatever, we just get to add that to our long list of neat things that we have accomplished and get a warm, fuzzy feeling, but no more signals. Now, I don't know what their rationale for that was, or how they figure it's going to balance out, or whether they just decided they were giving away too many things, but that's a recent change as well. Now, these torpedoes, as you probably are aware, but if you're not, you can see right there, they're very fast. The torpedoes in this line in general are very fast. Östergötland is blisteringly fast, and then Holland is just short of light speed. So we are, what, 4.5 minutes in, more or less. Any of those torpedoes going to land home? Or did that DD make a run for it? Now, if you're taking a look at the mini-map, you can see where the enemy Felix Schultz and Akazuki and Friesland were last seen. And because that DD that smoked up there was the Friesland, it almost certainly was able to use its hydro to avoid those torpedoes. And the Missouri that is now right behind SirHamer is going to be subjected to a more or less constant HE spam as long as it is within Friesland's range. SirHamer looks to be trying to get out ahead of these battleships. There is the Hollande out here to contend with. No, nope, I take that back. Not anymore. Good job, Yugumo. Or Yugumo. Or Yugo. Call it what you like. The Imperial Japanese Navy destroyer, Tier 9 destroyer that's sitting out there at J2, finished off the Hollande. And I have a feeling that's going to put an end to the push from these battleships. And with SirHamer pushing in here now, and the KGV reversing, this is probably going to end very badly for these guys. And my hope is that they'll be drooling on themselves in anticipation of trying to get a broadside shot on this Missouri behind SirHamer, but I don't think they're going to get that shot before those torpedoes arrive. So the KGV is probably going to sink here. I guess it's possible he might survive it, but I kind of doubt it. Just over 1920. Well, he's trying to pick up some healing here. Yeah, and he's moved out of the way, so he narrowly averts disaster. So if you're a DD player and you're relatively inexperienced, and I'm not saying SirHamer is, but that's a really good example of why sometimes it's a good idea to spread your torpedoes out a little bit. Sometimes when you put them all kind of in one spot, it has a really big payoff. If KGV hadn't moved, it certainly would have, and that thing would have sunk. But a lot of times people do move. They get a spidey sense tingle, or could have just been that he saw the Missouri coming in and they move. Spreading your torpedoes out a little bit means you might land one more or two more, or maybe get the dev strike that you've been hoping for. Just never know. At this point in the game, I hesitate to say it because it is World of Warships, but this game looks pretty well over at this point. The bad guys have lost Zara Shores, Felix Schultz, and Hollande, and the good guys have just lost their first ship in the form of New Orleans. Now the Hipper's tough to hit with torpedoes if the Hipper's captain knows what he's about. We'll see. Looked to me like SirHamer was kind of anticipating the Hipper coming to starboard a little bit to avoid staying on the map edge. And if he does, and it looks like he is, he's probably going to eat at least one, maybe two or three of these torpedoes. I think he must not be running hydro because it didn't look like he reacted to those till they were right on top of him. And that's it for the Hipper. That's kill number 2 for SirHamer and 5 for the team. Bad guys are down to 7 ships. 6 ships as Missouri goes down to the Benson. KGV is probably going to go down to guns here. And he does. Not a whole lot of damage, but he does finish off the KGV. KGV has really pretty decent dev strike potential, so you just never know. I mean, if he'd gotten a shot on the Riga or the Charles Martel, he might have finished him. So it's really great that SirHamer was able to finish him off. Friendly Fiji takes out the Seattle. Good guys have 716 points to 111 for the bad guys. Yeah, time for a little beach party bingo. Everybody unloads the coolers and they do a little dancing, listen to music, drinking beers. Nelson takes out the friendly Riga. Somebody was going to. And the Riga does take out the Nelson when they ram. I guess Nelson probably figured there wasn't much else he was going to be able to do. He might as well. Yeah, I think I'm probably right. Might as well make sure he gets a kill before he gets blapped. And as I mentioned a minute ago, this really is all over. And this is probably going to end kind of abruptly here in a minute or two. We got maybe 2 more kills before the good guys win on points. Friesland smokes up. I think if it were me, I'd be stopping right now. And I might have thrown those torpedoes at the Lexington. If he stopped, the reason I say stop right now is if he stopped at the time that I said it, he was not in gun range of the Lexington. He could have continued to blind fire without being spotted. But as it is right now, the Friesland will see him. I guess it's not going to matter. Friesland's just completely focused on the Missouri and goes down to torpedoes. And now SirHamer's able to put shots on the Lexington at very close range, and it's just going to get closer and closer. 32 seconds till, well, looks like that's 30 seconds till torpedoes are back up, but he's not going to need them. Here's my hope that nobody finishes before he gets it. Oh, Fiji takes the kill. That would have been the quacking. Of course, you're not getting any reward for that anymore, but still. Would have been nice. And now, it's just the Akazuki. He's not long for this world. So I'm going to say, SirHamer, great game. Not a lot of damage, but you made some shots and torpedo drops that mattered. Finished off 4 ships. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is, while fun to get a lot of kills, also suggestive of kind of where the game is recently in terms of the number of blowouts. Thanks a lot for joining me. Really appreciate it. See you next time.